When Gilligan's Island first hit the airwaves in 1964, it brought together a stellar ensemble cast of 7, with 5 of its stars already enjoying fame and success in Hollywood. Bob Denver, Alan Hale Jr., Natalie Schafer, Tina Louise, and Jim Backus were seasoned pros, each with impressive resumes that added star power to the show. But among these well-known names was a fresh face, Dawn Wells. Though she had earned the title of Miss Nevada and appeared in a few TV guest spots, she was relatively unknown. Little did anyone know that she would soon steal America's heart as the unforgettable Mary Ann. Despite her comparatively lower recognition, Dawn Wells would soon captivate audiences with her portrayal of the endearing character Mary Ann, the quintessential girl next door. Over the course of the following 3 years, Gilligan's Island not only provided viewers with laughter and entertainment, but it also succeeded in capturing the hearts of Americans. This was largely due to the irresistible charm and effervescence exuded by Mary Ann, portrayed with remarkable authenticity by Dawn Wells. Her portrayal of the lovable character resonated deeply with the audience, fostering a sense of affection and endearment towards the show. Thus, while the majority of the cast members had already enjoyed considerable success in their respective careers prior to Gilligan's Island, Dawn Wells emerged from relative obscurity and became an integral part of the show's tremendous popularity. Through her portrayal of Mary Ann, she not only showcased her talent as an actress, but also established herself as a beloved figure, embodying the qualities of the charming and relatable girl next door that viewers across America came to adore. Ginger Grant was envisioned to capture viewers with her beautiful attractiveness and charm that was reminiscent of Marilyn Monroe, making her the personification of every man's ideal, despite the fact that the creators did not anticipate that she would do so. They were taken aback, however, as it quickly became apparent that Mary Ann was the audience's overwhelming favorite from the very beginning. In a recent interview, Dawn Wells discussed her famous role and commented on the experience of being the object of desire for a large number of followers. She said that it was amazing to be in that position. Facts Verse invites you to join us as we investigate Dawn Wells' perceptive analysis of the seductive pull of Mary Ann. The very first broadcast of the pilot episode of Gilligan's Island was done on September 26, 1964, and it was done by CBS. The lives of 7 people who were stranded on an uninhabited island were the focus of the television show. The character of Gilligan, the clumsy and accident-prone first mate of the SS Minnow, the boat that sank on a barren island in the Pacific, was portrayed by Bob Denver, who also played the title role. Alan Hale Jr. gave the performance of the warm-hearted yet impatient character known as Skipper. Natalie Schafer portrayed Lovely Howell, the character of Mr. Thurston Howell III's wife, while Jim Backus played the role of the very wealthy Mr. Thurston Howell III. Ginger or Mary Ann? That was the question that kicked off one of the most heated discussions in the annals of television's long and illustrious history. The character of Ginger, portrayed by Tina Louise, was a famous Hollywood actress in the same vein as Marilyn Monroe. She was alluring and gorgeous, to the point that most guys wouldn't think twice about spending their whole fortune only to be stranded on an island with her. Ginger didn't have any of the life skills that are necessary for individuals to live on a deserted island, despite the fact that she frequently used her sexuality to help the castaways get out of sticky situations. On the other side, Mary Ann, who was portrayed by Dawn Wells, who was also Miss Nevada, was the ideal girl next door. She was bubbly, adorable, likable, sensitive, and compassionate. Wells won the title of Miss Nevada, while she was also playing the role of Mary Ann. The authors of the show modeled her persona after Dorothy Gale from The Wizard of Oz, and it's safe to say that she was the most grounded lady who lived on the island. The final episode of the show was shown on television in 1967, but it continued to be broadcast in syndication for a number of years after that. Mary Ann and Ginger are still around, despite the fact that Gilligan's Island was taken off the air 53 years ago. On the other hand, more men have self-identified as Mary Ann guys as opposed to Ginger Grant guys as the years have progressed. What is it in Mary Ann's personality that draws people to her and makes her such a fan favorite? To circle back around to the popularity of Mary Ann, Dawn Wells expressed her thoughts on the topic during an interview. Dawn believes that the fact that Mary Ann exemplified the highest standards of morality contributed much to her allure. She was always cooking, cleaning, and assisting everyone around her. And she did all of these things without uttering a single word of complaint. More significantly, despite the fact that she was aware of the shortcomings that other individuals possessed, and she never responded negatively to those shortcomings. For instance, she was aware of all of Gilligan's mistakes, yet she never became irate with him, despite the fact that she was aware of them. She did not feel envious of Ginger or the attention that Ginger received as a result of her glam goddess persona. In the end, Marianne's natural kindness was the primary factor that contributed to her immense popularity. Dawn Wells is of the opinion that one of the reasons that men continue to find Marianne sexually alluring is due to the fact that, in contrast to Ginger, she is approachable. Even though Ginger was the epitome of beauty, she remained inaccessible due to the celebrity feeling that surrounded her. In addition, Ginger gave off the impression of being an extremely high-maintenance person. For example, if you took her out on a date, she expected nothing less than champagne. On the other hand, Marianne was a lady who gave off the impression that she could both be attractive and keep a household running well. She was also the type of woman that men would feel comfortable bringing their moms home to meet. Dawn talked about how the regulations regulating the representation of women on television have evolved over the years. When she was discussing Marianne's sexual appeal, she also talked about the role she played in highlighting Marianne's sexual attraction. Both of these topics were discussed while Dawn was talking about Marianne's sexual appeal. In the 1960s, CBS had a restriction called the 3-second rule, which said that show writers and filmmakers were not allowed to expose a character's cleavage or navel for more than 3 seconds at a time. Therefore, when it came time to decide on Marianne's clothes, Dawn assisted the designers in developing shorts for Marianne that would hide her navel while simultaneously giving the appearance that she had longer legs. There are still a lot of pictures of Marianne wearing these shorts on the internet, and many people feel that it was these shorts that gave Marianne the sex appeal that made her appealing to a lot of younger guys. Gilligan's Island aired its final episode in 1967, and despite the fact that it was a ratings success during its run, the program has not been remembered as an iconic or perennially popular one in the annals of television history. Despite this, the persona of Marianne continues to exist. Dawn Wells frequently discusses how much more well-known she became as a result of the show. During an interview, Dawn related a time when she and 5 of her friends visited the Solomon Islands, a location that is characterized by a predominantly isolated population. They went there with the understanding that there would be no power, television, or running water. Nevertheless, what Dawn went through took her by surprise in a significant way. Dawn Wells was immediately recognized by the chief's wife as soon as they arrived on the island. In the 1970s, she had attended a nursing school in Honiara, and while she was there, she had frequently seen repeats of the television show Gilligan's Island on television. Dawn has stated that she is known nearly wherever she goes, and she attributes all of her success and recognition to the role of Marianne, which is easily recognizable. Despite this, Dawn was not the only candidate considered for the part. It is speculated that Raquel Welch also tried out for the part of Marianne during the casting process. Dawn, on the other hand, is not aware of this fact. In spite of this, she is of the view that if Raquel Welch had in fact tried out for the role of Marianne or Ginger on Gilligan's Island, she would have been a more natural match for the role of Ginger. After all, Raquel was a stunning example of an X symbol in real life, and Ginger exemplified the same quality on the program. Even though they are the only 2 original cast members still alive, Tina Louise, who portrayed Ginger, and Dawn Wells have not remained in contact over the years, despite the fact that they were friendly when working together on set. According to Dawn, when the program was canceled, Louise made the decision to pursue her own interests and stopped maintaining contact with any of the other cast members. Wells recalls that Dawn staged a play in New York and invited Louise to appear in it. However, when the time came for Louise to attend the performance, she was noticeably absent, leading Dawn to speculate that Louise may have purposely distanced herself. Despite the lack of communication between them and the ongoing narrative of being pitted against each other since the show's inception, Dawn still cherishes some fond memories of her time working with Louise. One particular recollection stands out, a moment in Louise's life when she had recently gotten married and, much like her character on screen, possessed limited culinary knowledge. It was during this period that Louise turned to Dawn for assistance in preparing a Thanksgiving feast, a memory that Dawn holds dear. According to Dawn, her mother extended an invitation to Louise, and during her visit, the 2 women sat side by side on kitchen stools, engrossed in reading, discussing, and jotting down various recipes. It was a time of bonding and shared experiences, evoking a sense of warmth and nostalgia for Dawn. Years later, when Dawn Wells unexpectedly bumped into Caprice, Louise's daughter, she was taken aback to discover that her mother had vividly recounted the Thanksgiving feast they had shared with Wells and her family. It's truly astonishing to realize that almost half a century has passed since the final episode of Gilligan's Island graced the airwaves of CBS. Looking back, it's hard to fathom the passage of such a considerable amount of time. The sitcom featured Tina Louise as the glamorous Ginger Grant, an alluring movie star and a symbol of seduction, while Dawn Wells portrayed Mary Ann, the endearing, cheerful, and empathetic girl next door. Tina Louise embodied the role of Ginger Grant, while Dawn Wells portrayed Mary Ann. The way Ginger Grant's character was crafted led the creators to assume that she would inevitably become the epitome of sensuality on television, an assumption they took for granted. Surprisingly, over the course of the show's original 3-year run and the subsequent years, more men found themselves drawn to Mary Ann than Ginger. Although all the actresses possessed stunning beauty, Mary Ann consistently reigned as the more popular choice. But why? It's conceivable that Gilligan's Island didn't receive as much acclaim as some other contemporaneous series. However, the enduring popularity of Mary Ann suggests that Americans prefer the relatable girl next door over a glamorous goddess. On the other hand, the show undeniably left an indelible mark on American culture due to its unforgettable characters. At the very least, Dawn Wells attributes a significant portion of her success to the show. Despite the cancellation of Gilligan's Island, Wells continued her acting career, yet she will forever be most recognized for her portrayal of the affectionate Mary Ann. So, do you find Mary Ann attractive? Or do you align yourself with the Ginger Grant fan club? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.